Something huge is brewing in Indiana, and it's not just another offseason rumor. It's the slow-motion unraveling of a franchise caught between legacy and power. The story of Caitlin Clark's arrival was supposed to be a fairy tale, a generational player, a reborn franchise, and a league ready to embrace its new superstar. But somewhere between sold-out arenas and national TV buzz, the fairy dust turned to friction. And now, whispers are turning into inevitabilities. Steve Simon, the quiet billionaire behind the Indiana Fever, is reportedly done waiting. Done debating. Stephanie White's time as head coach could be nearing its end, and with it, the last remnants of the old Fever identity. It's almost poetic how quickly this all escalated. A few months ago, White was being celebrated for helping steer the team back to the playoffs for the first time in years. Her disciplined system gave structure to a young, chaotic roster. She kept things balanced, team first, measured. But behind the scenes, balance was never the goal, not for Steve Simon. To him, the Fever wasn't just a team. It was a brand, a business, a billion-dollar opportunity wrapped in ponytail and highlight reels. So when the Fever's chemistry started wobbling, when ticket sales plateaued, when the buzz began to fade even slightly, Simon reportedly snapped. "We're still running this like it's 2015, he said after the final loss of the season. He wasn't just talking about basketball, he was talking about control. What followed sounds less like sports management and more like corporate restructuring. Sources say Simon told his top executives that the Fever still hadn't fully embraced what he calls the Caitlin Clark system. To him, this was no longer about development or patience. It was about acceleration, monetary, cultural, and visual. The old Fever way, built on fundamentals and quiet progress, had to die. In its place, Simon wanted something flashier, faster, and infinitely more marketable. That's where the rift began. Stephanie White, the former WNBA player and coach's coach, believed in structure, defense, and shared responsibility. She wanted to grow the team organically, to let Clark earn her stardom through system and substance. Simon wanted none of it. Insiders claim that during one heated meeting, he interrupted her mid-sentence and said, "We're not developing. We're building a product." Those 5 words reportedly changed everything. From that moment, a quiet war broke out inside the Fever organization. White still coached, but her authority was weakened. Clark's star rose higher, her name eclipsing even the team logo. Reporters noticed the shift: awkward huddles, colder press conferences, shorter post-game answers. Fans began asking what had changed. The truth? Everything. The locker room divided along invisible lines. One group loyal to White and her principles, another orbiting around the rising global icon that Caitlin Clark had become. By mid-season, insiders said it felt like 2 separate worlds sharing the same locker room. Players whispered that White was the only one who still had their backs. But in Simon's world, that wasn't loyalty, it was resistance. And billionaires don't tolerate resistance. So he did what billionaires do best. He initiated an internal review. No announcements, no leaks. Just quiet evaluation. Executives told to assess every leadership position with an emphasis on organizational alignment. Corporate speak for get on board or get out, and the writing was on the wall. Simon reportedly began scouting for replacements weeks before the season ended. He wanted someone younger, someone analytics-driven, someone who wouldn't question his Clark-centric vision. A coach who understood that basketball is just one part of the product. Rumors began swirling about a former assistant known for player empowerment and social media savvy. Others whispered about a college coach with deep ties to Iowa basketball, someone who already spoke Caitlin's language. Each possibility had the same purpose: total alignment with Simon's vision. Meanwhile, emotions inside the Fever camp began to boil. Veteran players, many of whom had suffered through losing seasons under White but stayed loyal, were devastated. "We didn't even get a chance to fight for her," one player allegedly told a friend. They saw her as the heart of the team, the last link to an identity built on grit and trust. But the younger generation, the Caitlin Clark generation, stayed quiet, some out of professionalism, others out of fear. Silence, after all, can speak louder than words. Caitlin Clark herself has reportedly remained neutral, laser-focused on training, avoiding public drama. But in Simon's orbit, neutrality looks like approval. Her silence became a blank check for him to proceed. Executives took it as permission, and soon what started as whispers became open acknowledgement. Within Pacers Sports and Entertainment, Staff were allegedly told to avoid social speculation and stay on message. The same corporate playbook Simon had used during previous shakeups was being dusted off again. By the time fans caught wind of it, the online conversation had already turned sharp. Steve Simon's taking over completely. White's gone. It's the Caitlin Clark show now. And while those comments might sound dramatic, the business case was airtight. Clark had turned Indiana into a gold mine. Ticket sales tripled. Merchandise flew off shelves. National broadcasts followed her every move. And crucially, all that money flowed back through Pacers Sports and Entertainment, Steve Simon's empire. When the billionaire looked at the Fever, he didn't see a basketball team. He saw a brand worth protecting. In Simon's mind, the problem wasn't White's coaching. It was her hesitation to evolve the team into what the market demanded. Insiders say he viewed her as too traditional, too protective of culture. But to Simon, culture doesn't pay bills. Influence does, and Clark was influence personified. So he made a decision: rebuild leadership before the brand takes another hit. Insiders now believe the call to fire Stephanie White has already been made. It's just a matter of timing. The announcement, they say, will come cleanly, professionally. No drama, no spectacle. A short press release, a thank you for her contributions. Then, within 48 hours, a new coach unveiled. Someone young, camera-ready, and eager to align with Simon's entertainment-driven vision. That's how billionaires move. Quietly, efficiently, without emotion, but beneath all the precision, something vital risks being lost. Stephanie White wasn't just a coach, she was the last beating heart of what made the Fever feel like a team. The glue between eras. The soul of a franchise that once won with humility and grit. If she goes, so does that culture. What's left may win more games, sell more jerseys, and dominate headlines. But will it still feel like basketball? Or will it feel like a brand? Fans sense it already. Forums and comment sections are split. Some defend Simon's ruthlessness. The league needs this. Clark is the future. Others mourn what's slipping away. White deserved better. The Fever's becoming a business, not a family. The divide mirrors the locker room itself. Idealism versus ambition, passion versus profit. And at the center of it all stands Caitlin Clark. Unwilling, perhaps unaware, yet undeniably powerful. The face of a revolution she didn't ask for but can't escape. So maybe this isn't just about a coach's job or a billionaire's ego. Maybe it's about the growing pains of an entire league realizing that fame, money, and media can't coexist peacefully with purity and loyalty forever. The WNBA is changing, fast, and Indiana is the testing ground. Steve Simon's vision may succeed beyond anyone's imagination, or it might break something that can never be rebuilt. What do you think, basketball fans? Is Steve Simon revolutionizing women's basketball or destroying the very soul of the Fever? Should Caitlin Clark's rise be celebrated or feared? Drop your thoughts below. I read every single one. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and stay tuned. Because if these rumors become reality, Indiana Fever history might be rewritten overnight.